We're talking about overcoming false beliefs. Well, what about the belief that having more money would make your life better and happier? So I went around and I interviewed a bunch of people, asking them the question of what would be something that would make your life better or make you happier. One of the most common responses that I received from adults is having more money. So let's talk about that, because we talk about on this channel that how important beliefs are, because beliefs drive our behavior and our behavior gives us our outcomes. And we talk about principles. So principles are laws that govern the world in which we live. And in order for us to get the outcomes that we want, then our behaviors need to be in alignment with principle or with those laws, which means that our beliefs have to be in alignment with those laws. So what about this belief that if I had more money, my life would be better? Well, if you think about it, it may seem to be true, right? Because if I had more money, it would allow me to do more things, to buy more things. It would seem like if I had more money, that maybe I would be less stressed. It just seems like money is the solution to a lot of the problems that we have in the world in which we live. But let's talk about money for a minute. What is money? Because the truth is, money doesn't even exist. Money is a concept or an idea. Money is a tool. It's currency that we use, and it's a representation of something else. It's a representation of value or value created. And so we've come up with currency as a way or a means of exchange, of exchanging value for value. And it makes it easier to exchange. But money in and of itself doesn't exist. It's an outcome of creating value. So if I don't have enough money in my life, or I think that more money would make me happy, I'm saying that something doesn't exist is what's causing the problem, or it's something that if I had more of, it would make me happier. But why am I in the situation that I'm in financially? If I'm in a place where I don't feel like I have enough money, then why don't I have more money? It can't be because there isn't enough money, because all of the money that exists in the world exists. It's out there. If I don't have it myself, then it exists, in the pockets or bank accounts of other people. So the question is, why do they have more money, or why do they have the money and I don't have it? Well, the reason is probably because they understand what money is better than I do. And until I understand what money is, my behavior won't change, which means my outcomes won't change. So think about that in your own life. If you've ever been in a situation, or maybe you're a person that just lives paycheck to paycheck, and you always tend to have enough money, but you never have all of the money that you want. Well, why is your life that way, but somebody else's life is they have enough money for all that they want, but then they always have extra? The truth of that is that situation really has nothing to do with how much money you make. It has to do with what do you do with the money you have. Because there are some people who don't make very much money, but they know what to do with their money, and they always have money for what they need, and they have money left over. Some people that end up being very wealthy, it's not that they made a whole bunch of money, it's what they did with the money that they did have. So if I don't understand that about money, what I'm really looking for, if I think that having more money would change my situation, is it may be a temporary fix. So you can almost look at money like a drug. So people that use drugs, it's because they're unhappy, they don't like the state that they're in, and they want to change that. So they use something outside of themselves that gives them a temporary fix and they feel better, but then their situation returns to what it was, and whatever was causing the unhappiness before is still there. So if I don't have enough money for what I want, there's a reason that I don't have enough money. It's because of my thoughts and my beliefs and my behavior. So if somebody then gives me money that I can use to do with, and again, if I don't really know what money is and somebody gives me money, then most likely what I'm going to do with that money is I'm going to consume it or I'm going to spend it, because that's what I do with my money. That's why I don't have more money, because I spend all the money that I get. So if I get more, if my beliefs haven't changed, my behavior won't change, so I'll spend all the money that I have, and then as soon as it's gone, now I'm back in the same situation where I need more money again. And so having more money may give me a temporary fix to where I experience happiness, but it's not going to change the situation. So what I'd really be saying is, I want an unlimited supply of money, and I don't want to have to do anything to receive it. Again, that's a violation of principle because of cause and effect. And if it's really saying that there aren't any consequences for my behavior. So it doesn't matter what I do with my money, I'm always going to have more money coming in. But again, money is a representation of value or value created. So if I'm not doing anything to create value, then somebody is violating a principle somewhere and giving me money for something that I didn't do, which is going to create a belief in my head of entitlement, that I am owed something. And then that puts me in a situation where I blame and I look outside of myself and think that life is fair because it never goes the way that I want it to go. So understanding the truth about this, that's a false belief. Money will not make you happier. Again, it may give you a temporary relief or some temporary happiness, but it's not what happiness really comes from. So if you have that belief that money would change your life, then it's important for you to understand what money really is and change your beliefs about that. And once you do that, once you begin to see money differently and to use it differently and to use it as a tool, well, what you'll find out is that your money situation will change and you will have the money that you want and the money that you need. But it's not going to happen automatically. And again, it's not going to make you happy. So even if you make those changes, you're probably not going to be any happier in your life unless you do something about that, which is recognizing that happiness is a choice. And I can find happiness in any circumstance or situation just by focusing on what's right and what's good and what I have. So having that attitude of gratitude and focusing on what I have instead of what I don't have. So the real solution to overcoming or working through these false beliefs is identifying and understanding the truth. Thanks for watching. What are your experiences with money in your life? Have you found that by changing your beliefs and understanding of money that's changed your situation? Or have you had experiences where you thought having more money would make your life better, and maybe you got more money and it actually made things worse? If you have experiences that you would like to share with us, make sure you comment down below and subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and visit our website, principlebasedliving.com. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, be sure and follow me here.